On Monday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced bonuses for first responders. DeSantis, who is running for re-election, has traveled his state awarding bonuses to a number of public sector workers, including police, teachers, and EMTs. DeSantis is currently locked in a surprisingly close race with Democrat Charlie Crist, according to recent polls. He is widely considered a major 2024 presidential contender, and according to most surveys, is probably the only Republican with a chance in a primary against former President Trump. DeSantis has made support of first responders, especially police, central to his political identity and campaign message.
So we're happy to be here today to be able to present the first set of, for the second year in a row we're doing this, $1,000 bonus payments for all first responders in the state of Florida. And we're so happy to be here to be able to do that at Jacksonville Fire and Rescue because we know how hard you guys have been working. You know, in all ways, it's a tough job, but particularly since COVID, being able to needing to flex and put yourselves out there. And we're just, we thought last year that this was something that was appropriate to do to show that we support. And it was something that I think a lot of people felt, obviously you like the money, especially, you know, when you've had about a Bidenflation like we've seen over the last year and a half. But it's also just showing that the state of Florida appreciates your service. And I think a lot of people really appreciated that. So we said we were going to do it again. You know, it helps when you have by far the biggest budget surplus in the history of the state of Florida. You can do a lot of things when you have that. And we would never have had that surplus if the other folks had had their way and shut this state down for a year. That would not have happened. We would be in dire straits had we listened to them. So we did the right thing. And so we got this approved by the legislature. Of course, the budget doesn't take effect till July 1st. So since then, the Department of Economic Opportunity has been working with all the departments across the state. See, obviously, you guys know, police and fire EMT, very few of them are state employees. They're municipal employees, county employees. So it's not like we just have that information. So we've got to go work with every fire department, every police department, every sheriff's department in the state of Florida to get the names of everybody and make sure that we could process these checks. And so all Florida first responders who were employed by any level of local government as of May 1st of this year are eligible to receive the bonus. And so we're going to be handing out bonuses to the folks you see here. And this will be the first checks that have gone out. And now the rest of Jack's Fire Rescue, you'll get them in the mail. And people from the state over the next couple weeks, you're going to see the checks go out. And this is significant. What is the total number of people, Dane? You're talking about yeah, almost 100,000 Floridians across the state are going to get a bonus check for a job well done. And Dane, are we also including, including the taxes for this? Yes, sir. So we did a $1,000 bonus. You know, they're unleashing 87,000 IRS agents on the public very soon, so we don't want you to get caught up. But we want it to actually be $1,000 in your pocket. And so the check is going to be written for more than that to account for any taxes that you may owe. We're also, I'm glad to be able to do these bonus payments today, which is, of course, a Monday, but yesterday was the 21st anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. And it was a time when we reflect, obviously, on the loss of a lot of great people who were in those towers, folks who were in the Pentagon, and, of course, folks who were on United Flight 93. We lost a number of folks from the FDNY, NYPD, the Port Authority, who were running into the burning buildings. And when you wear those uniforms, that's what you're required to do. And there's a lot of different things that happen that the rest of the public is not expected to necessarily run towards. But the folks who are wearing the uniform have to run towards the fire and run towards the danger. And September 11th was probably the most dramatic example of that, because obviously you have massive planes going into some of our biggest buildings in the whole country. But you had folks going in there who knew they probably weren't going to come out. And you had folks going in there who were able to marshal to safety hundreds, if not thousands, of people who otherwise would have perished. And so if you think about what those folks did at the World Trade Center, also the civilians on United Flight 93, that plane would have ended up crashing into a civilian target somewhere in Washington, D.C. The folks that stepped up that day saved thousands of lives. And so we obviously mourn the nearly 3,000 who lost their lives, but we also give thanks to those who stood up and who put themselves on the line. And yes, the folks who perished in the towers that were first responders, but I think a lot of people understand, there are folks who survived as first responders who had really significant injuries. You had folks that had health problems that developed for being in such a really, really problematic environment with all the stuff that was floating around in the air. And then, of course, you've had a lot of issues with resilience and mental health that have happened, post-traumatic stress. So this has been a burden that a lot of the folks who served that day and who survived have had to carry for over 20 years. And so just understand that. And that's part of the reason when we see that we're so appreciative of the folks that we have protecting our communities. And I will also say, if you look at the folks who were in 9/11 or in the various agencies in New York City, the people that have left the tri-state area, like on retirement, overwhelmingly choose to come to Florida. I mean, it's not even close in terms of where people are retiring to who have served their communities. And so that's something I think that strengthened our communities. I was in Palm Harbor yesterday for a 9/11 remembrance, and we had some of these guys from the FDNY, NYPD, long since retired now, but they've all decided, and so many of them have decided to make Florida their home. So we're proud of that. We're proud of being a place that people want to retire to, have that service heart. Of course, we have more and more people signing up to be police and fire in the state of Florida than probably we ever had. We're going to be highlighting some of the $5,000 bonuses that we're doing for police officers who are moving into Florida from out of state, and there's not a lot of states that are matching the outreach that we're doing. So we're proud of that, and we're proud to be able to do something really, really special here today. We also were able to, in the most recent budget, Duval County's got a lot going on. Really all the counties in this area, St. John's, Clay, Nassau, they have stuff going on. As you get further into some of the more rural counties, a little bit harder to generate some of the tax revenue, and we're working on more things to do economically there, but some of them are what we consider fiscally constrained. We did $15 million to increase sheriff's deputy salaries in those fiscally constrained counties. So that's a huge boon to them for recruitment and retention, and we were really happy to be able to do that. One of the things we've also been able to do in last year's budget, focusing on, not just fire and police, but also teachers and nurses, people that we're calling hometown heroes. We have a program to help them afford a new home with down payment assistance. I mean, you have massive inflation going on. That's affecting everything. If you look at how much it costs to build a house today versus 3 years ago, most of those inputs have gone up through the roof. Of course, you also have a lot of demand for people that want to live in the state of Florida, and so those houses go a lot quicker here than maybe some other parts of the country. But the bottom line is we want people serving our communities to be able to live in the communities. I don't want you to have to commute an hour and a half just to be able to go to work. And so we've been able, how many people have we done on Hometown Heroes? We've done a lot so far. Yeah, I mean, it's been really good demand. I think we've paid out I think close to $30 million in down payment assistance for folks throughout the state of Florida. And so that's just showing that, we understand the salary you may get, a bonus, great, but, can you live in the community? And we want to make sure that you can do that. So we're proud of the Hometown Heroes Act, and we're proud of what we've been able to do. So I'm going to present right now the big check to Jack's Fire and Rescue. Then Dane is going to speak. And then we're going to have some other folks, and then we'll present the real checks, which I think everybody wants to come here for. So, okay, who wants to take this? So this is the total amount of bonuses being paid out, $2.1 million.
That's the day.